We're tracking the tropics. A tropical storm warning has been issued for Palm Beach County. Chief Meteorologist Steve Weigel has the latest information on Tropical Storm Eta and what it will mean for our weather. A lot to talk about tonight, Steve.
There sure is, Tanya. Let's break it down for you. We have multiple watches and warnings and advisories, and we have a storm that is gaining strength. It's a weather alert for South Florida as this starts to move in some very heavy rain across Cuba now. It'll make landfall there overnight. We're also getting reports of very strong winds around the Caymans. The winds today have increased to 60 miles an hour. The hurricane hunters have been flying through it. There's another aircraft that's headed down to this area now. It should be over the Florida Straits at this point. It's moving northeast at 16. It is an interesting track the next 4 to 5 days as it gets caught up in a couple of steering currents, one that pushes it back into the Gulf of Mexico. But here's the forecast track. It's really holding together and intensifying, and it could intensify a little bit more. In fact, just after midnight tomorrow night, 70-mile-an-hour winds just off our coastline, and that's why we now have a hurricane watch for Broward and Miami-Dade. And it turns back toward the west. Sunday night into Monday morning, and it pushes into the Gulf of Mexico and then slows down almost to a crawl on Tuesday and Wednesday, and it's close enough even at this point that we'll still feel the effects into Tuesday and Wednesday and maybe even Thursday of next week. It's only a few hundred miles away from our area. Even though most of our area is out of the error cone, it's meaningless because some of the strongest winds are well to the north and to the east of the center. Let's look at the forecast tracks tonight, some of the model guidance, and getting in better agreement. And you can see all these lines just pretty much colliding on top of each other as the model really slow it down, pretty much stall it and drift it slowly north after that. That'll be Wednesday and Thursday of next week. So we're going to be dealing with this one for a while. I want to go back frame here. We have a couple of watches and warnings. We have the tropical storm warning now for Palm Beach County and into Broward, and Broward also has that hurricane watch. Tropical storm watch in effect, that is for the Treasure Coast, and that could be updated to a warning as the storm gets a little bit closer. We also have the flood watch in effect for our area with 5 to 8 inches of rain possible the next 6 to 7 days. In fact, the NOAA forecast models pretty much bringing in 5 to 7, maybe 8 inches of rain. Locally higher amounts are also possible. Gusty winds today really stirring up the seas. In fact, here's a look at downtown West Palm along the intracoastal. We have some wind chop there and a few white caps. That's only going to climb as the winds are going to pick up even more starting overnight and into tomorrow. In fact, they'll start to peak as we get into tomorrow night. So that wind field spreads across South Florida. The yellow area, that's about 40 to 50, almost 60-mile-an-hour winds. The strongest winds stay just to the south, but not much. Here's a look at the radar tonight. So we've had reports of 40 to 45-mile-an-hour winds in our area today. Power plant, Port St. Lucie, and also around Dania. And these squalls are bringing them in. We can see a few more working in around Hutchinson Island and around the power plant and working through Port St. Lucie. So as these push through, we get some very strong winds. Now the winds and the rain increase tomorrow. This is the Vipercast model, and this really swings it back to the west, but it keeps tropical storm conditions around into tomorrow evening. And a probability of seeing 40-mile-an-hour winds or stronger, about 50-50 now across Palm Beach County and about 20% across the Treasure Coast. So for Palm Beach County, looking at a couple inches of rainfall, some gusty winds overnight. Treasure Coast about the same. In some of those squalls, we could get an easy inch or two of rainfall. Tomorrow through the day, the winds slowly increasing. We could see gusts to 50 and still some more rain working through, and the same for the Treasure Coast. It picks up even more tomorrow night. I think the peak winds and rain will be tomorrow night and into Monday. So lightning a bit of a threat, but the winds, they'll get gusty and we could see some power outages. No need to put up your shutters just yet. We usually advise when a hurricane watch is issued. We don't have one yet, but we may see one in Palm Beach County, and if that happens, we always recommend that you put up your shutters at that point. Flooding, it will be an issue, 5 to 8 inches of rain.